Another round of discussion is in the offing on today's edition of the program, Politics Today, reaching you live on independent television and radio. From wherever you're watching across the world, thank you for keeping a date with us on the program. Our first talking point on the program for this week is on the cost of nomination forms by political parties ahead of the primaries built for May for two major political parties, talking about the PDP and the APC. Perhaps it's the nomination form from the APC that has attracted attention the most against the background of the seemingly high cost. We'll be talking along those lines. And recently, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, wife of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, invited leading presidential aspirants to a meeting in Aso Rock. We'll also be looking at that. As is always the case, aspirants are jostling for the endorsements and, of course, the votes by the delegates when the primaries come into full swing. These are lots more. We form our package today on the program, Politics Today, reaching you live on independent television and radio. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun, your regular host on the program. I'm joined now by two authors and public affairs commentator, hopefully in the course of the program, a civil society activist and a clergy will be joining this conversation. But let me quickly welcome Dr. Bishop Akhalame. He's an author, politician, and also a public affairs commentator. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, good morning, and many viewers.
I also want to thank very specially Mr. Frank Ehiosun, who is an author and a public affairs commentator as well. Frank, thank you for joining us.
Oh, great pleasure.
Okay, let's just begin the discussion and center it around the cost of nomination forms. We're saying that of the major opposition party, particularly at the national level, the PDP, and then on Wednesday, arising from its National Executive Council meeting, talking about the All Progressive Congress, it released the election timetable, the timetable for its primaries, as well as the cost of nomination form from the presidency to the least position that will be people will be aspiring for. And there's been reactions and counter reactions. But let's start with you, Dr. Akhalame. This is supposed to be an intra-party affair. Why do you think that this nomination form cost is attracting so much reactions, especially on the part of criticisms?
Thank you. Even me, I am perplexed. Even though I'm in a different political party, I'm from the Zenith Labour Party.
Okay.
When I saw that notice, I became very astonished, because in a country where a particular political party has told the people that they are fighting corruption, which was the primary reasons why the people give them this mandate, to me, they have betrayed the public trust. Because you cannot say you are fighting corruption and you are bringing out a very high cost of nomination form for people to participate in an election. What are you thinking? Let me quote Chief Barrister Michael Zekome. He said, even the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, whose annual salary is no more than 12.2 million, how will he get money? That kind of 100,000 naira or 10 billion naira to purchase nomination form? Then I begin to ask this question. Before we take it, I was thinking that Nigeria is a project that everybody have to manage this time around. Whether you are in the Labour Party, whether you are in PDP, whether you are in the APC, we have to come to the table and discuss and see how we can make Nigeria a better place. But I never knew that some people just want the progress of this country. That should not be a yardstick for getting a good leader. So what political party should be thinking about now is looking at measures of getting quality leaders who can take us out of the problem, especially today as a nation. So if we are using financial capacity to choose our leaders, we end up having what? Lost leaders in Nigeria. Now, they came up with the amendment of the electoral bill of the not too young to run. Mm-hmm. Now you are coming up with 100 million naira to buy a nomination form. That one will trigger what? Corruption. You see, what APC have just done, what they are doing is that they have brought what is called are democratic corruption, and they have undermining what is called the democracy. That is what they have succeeded in doing. Because anybody that wants to buy the nomination, that will buy that nomination form. Number one, when he now eventually win the election, what he will be thinking, that the preoccupation is how to recoup the resources he invested during the election. Do you know my investigation have discovered that if you must contest an election in Nigeria today for presidential election, you need at least a minimum of 100 billion to do that. If you are going for governorship, you need a minimum of 2 billion to do that. Now look at the nomination forms brought out by the APC. Corruption, which will trigger corruption. And two, it will not give room to good leadership to emerge. In this critical time, where we need good leaders, then you are in 2015,
yeah.
The same party brought out a list of brought out this same cost about 27.7 million naira for the nomination form. The same president Muhammadu Buhari, so that time who was a contender, who was an aspirant, queried it. I said, why must we buy a nomination form this high, 27.5 million? Now, under his watch, his party is selling the nomination form for 100 million naira. That will tell you that the youth will not have access to governance.
Okay, let me pause you there, because I know that there's a development as it relates to the youth. Frank, looking at the two major political parties, the price for nomination form for the presidential nomination form for the APC 100 million, I think the PDP is 40 million. Are these prices justifiable?
In my candid opinion, they aren't justifiable. But I just feel that the issue of the price tag presently is tertiary compared to the fundamental that brought us to where we are. I see Nigeria actually as a living lie, an amalgam of falsehood, where it's a tree that is a combination of so many factors that promote the concept of disarray. Now, I said that to refer a point. As a nation state, our political practice is such that corruption is the lifeline of survival. So all this stuff we are complaining about, the price of the party form here and there, they are simply mere fruits of the big tree that we call the challenge facing us as a nation. So there are more to come, unfortunately, because you cannot talk about complaints concerning mere fruits of the tree when the tree itself exists without any attention on how to deal with it, possibly take it out to address how it can be replaced with something else that is functional. So that's why I said, in my kind of opinion, this issue of the price tag is actually a tertiary issue compared to the reality that has popped up all these factors that are in contention. The APC, between 2015 and now, like my God is going to offend just now, from 2015, it increased from 27.5 million or thereabout to about 45 million in 2019, and by 2023, it has increased to about 100 million. The PDP from 2015, it reduced from about 22 million to 12 million. From 2019 to 2023, now as we're going, they've increased it to 40 million. Now, what is the logic? The democracies we copy, that we learn from, they don't go by such extravagant, inhuman, as in price tags. For me, it's a reflection of the reality that we go through. There was a post on social media a few days back where they affirmed that the pay tag, the salary of Mr. President for 4 years, when summed up is less than 60 million, about 50-something million. Now, how could somebody go use 100 million to pick a form? Not the money to be spent in the process of electioneering. Funny enough, that 100 million is not the exact price, though. When administrative cost is added to it, it is more than 100 million. Okay. The price tag that the parties put, all of them, those are just the prices for the nomination and the question of interest forms. When you go to collect the form and there are charges you pay, different administrative charges. For the House of Assembly, for example, in the PDP, if you go by what they wrote, you see it's 600,000 in total. 100,000 for a claim of interest form, 500,000 for nomination form. But interface with folks who have got to collect from and submit from.
There are other charges that are not written.
The total expenses amounts to almost $1 million. You pay 100,000 here, you pay this one, you pay that one there. So it's a reality that speaks to what we go through. Now, corruption, like I said before, is actually the lifeline of Nigerian politics. Nobody is fighting corruption. Neither does anybody has intent to fight it. He talked about the president complaining in 2015 about the cost of buying a phone. Look at Ghana that is so close to us. In 2016, Ghana increased the price that the candidates pay by over 200%. Now, they increased by about 200%. The total equivalent was for the president, it comes to about $12,505.
Okay.
For those going to parliament, it's about $2,505. Now, when converted to Naira, the amount that somebody is buying for presidency in Ghana, even when the people were complaining that it was increased so much, you have to multiply it. The increase compared to Nigeria, you have to increase it by almost 2,000%. I didn't say 500%.
2,000%.
You have to increase it almost 2,000% to measure up to what the APC has tagged as a party nomination form. Now, see the contrast. In this same Ghana we are talking about, that money that the person paid, those who pay for it, anybody who scaled a certain up to 25% of the broadcast.
In the primaries?
No, in the election.
In the election. Okay.
No, in Ghana, it's not the party that fixed the nomination fee.
Okay.
It's the electoral commission that does it. So I think that Nigeria may go to that point, since the parties have become so reckless that they may have to peg it so that it will be
uniform.
Uniform.
Yeah, reasonable.
To a large extent. Now, in that same Ghana that is a neighbor right here, those who get up to 25% in the vote, the money they paid for that form is refunded.
To them?
To them. At the parliamentary level equally, if you get a certain threshold you get to, it's refunded to you. It's a practice in a number of countries where France are about the elections presently. I can tell you free of charge that both Macron and Le Pen, the targeted election expenses, not just for form, the election expenses, the tag, there's a benchmark, is about 16 million euros. If the runoff is added, you are having to add about 5 million euros or thereabout. Now, they will be giving back 50% of that money. Even when the money is not their personal funds, because there are contributory mechanisms that are set by law that they won't go beneath, go above. But look at Nigeria, a country that overtook India in February 2018 as the capital headquarters of the world. What message are you sending to your people? I know my president, for example, does not earn up to 60 million, and he go and use 100 million just to buy phone. What it means is that there is so much money that is unaccounted for that he can access, which is the culture of corruption that we're talking about. That is the truth. And we are taking the tragedy. The positive side of it is that the Nigerian story is such a bad tale. From, if we want to just explain this Fourth Republic, it's a story of going from bad to worse. In 2015, we thought we had gotten to the peak, that Nigeria may not survive afterwards. And everybody swam in the direction of the concept of change. But see where we are today. It's just been a case of moving from bad to worse, on and on and on. If you are going back through the military era, you look at it from the days of Gowon to Murtala Mohammed, on and on and on, there's always a case of from bad to worse. How do we continue like that as a nation state? It's very, very unfortunate. We have to rejig the entire system, ensure that the election is about the people. If the people are the supreme factor that ensure that there is survival of the nation state, because by the provision of the Constitution clearly stated in Section 14, subsection 2, sovereignty is derived from the people. Then you will derive it from. But in the electionary process in Nigeria, the people are pushed aside. What we call political parties in Nigeria, I'm sorry to say, no, I'm not sorry. They are simply investment vehicles for political entrepreneurs, a few, unfortunately, to invest their funds and recoup in dimensions undefined or unknown in any economic equilibrium or any economic format. Because it's just the case.
Okay.
And it's being sustained on and on.
Let me pause for that moment, Frank here. So if you just join us, the Politics Today on independent television and radio, we're x-raying the cost of nomination form put out there by political parties. We'll just talk more along those lines against the background that it's supposed to be a way of revenue generation for the political parties. What is wrong with that? The party, the APC, for example, has justified this nomination form cost, saying that there are many Nigerians who earn legitimately good money that can fund such a nomination form. In any case, we have some of the presidential aspirants saying the form was actually bought for them. One of the leading, one of the presidential aspirants in the ruling party, someone has already written a check of 100 million naira to pay for him. We'll talk along those lines, but first let's take a short break. We'll be back with you on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Please stay with us. Many thanks again for rejoining us on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Let's just quickly look at some comparative analysis of cost of nomination forms between the PDP and the APC. For the PDP, the nomination form for presidential election or presidential ticket is 40 million naira, while that of the governorship is 21 million naira. On the other hand, the APC presidential ticket, 100 million naira, and governorship, 15 million naira. We can just go on and on and on and on. And then for the Senate, 20 million naira, and House of Representatives, 50 million naira for the APC. And let's also compare and contrast that with what we have for the PDP. Senate expression of interest form, 500,000 naira, nomination form, 3 million naira, all right? And then governorship, expression of interest, 1 million naira, nomination form, 20 million naira. And then for House of Representatives, expression of interest form, 500,000 naira, nomination form, 2 million, that comes to 2.5 million. And then State House of Assembly, expression of interest, 100,000 naira, nomination form, 500,000, that comes to 600,000 naira. These are public documents already. Let me come to Bishop Osadola Oche. Political parties must fund themselves. Now, we have a culture where people belong to political parties, they don't pay dues. So how is the party supposed to get its own revenue to drive its function, to meet up with salaries and all other expenses that the party is supposed to handle? Let's get to take on this.
Good morning, listeners and viewers at home. I'm sorry I came late. First, the way I know that politics or parties are run is that party is run by membership. And membership contribute their money and pay membership dues monthly and annually. And it is from this money that parties are formed and the administrative structures are put in place. And individuals who are well-to-do, who are members of the party, can also make donations. But today, what we have, why the thing is not working, why the party is not relevant, as long as you have a president, you have a governor, you have a chairman of a local government, is because the president is stealing from Commonwealth to fund the party, giving fictitious contracts that are never executed to fund the party.
No, there's no just a moment, there's no way, when you say the president is stealing from fictitious contracts to fund the party, there's no evidence to that.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sure you're just making a general statement. I needed us to put that in the right context, yes.
Yes, whether general or otherwise, we Google these things. They say
there is no evidence, even if Google it. There is no way Google will tell you that it was Mr. President who stole this money and Google will tell you that.
Is your appealing authority.
So, Bishop, I just want us to stay on course.
Let me stay focused.
Yeah.
Then at the state level, the governor also do the same thing, temper with our Commonwealth to support the party. At the local government level, they are told to generate revenue to bring out money from the common purse to fund the party. That is the trade. That is how it works today in Nigeria. Sonny Duke, I know your, what do you call it now, your limitation.
I don't have any limitation.
I know your constraint.
No, there are no constraints. You see, there are rules of engagement. In your analysis, you must follow those rules. And it's my job to make you follow those rules of engagement. Yes, because of the issue. Yes, yes.
I know.
Yes.
So I will not be party to what will make you to have an issue.
It's not an issue. Follow the rules, Bishop Osadola will say. What is the challenge with this?
The challenge with this is that at the end of the day, they are telling us that the not too young to act bill is irrelevant. That's the consequence. Because there is no young man today who have genuinely made money that can afford 100 million or 40 million or 50 million or 21 million. The analysis are here.
Yeah, but that's why, for example, the APC is giving a 50% discount for any youth between the age of 25 to 40.
I know some who have no 30 million. Even though I have not run your account with you, but men looking at you, sir, at least I have the gift of design.
50 million, not 30 million. If 50%, 100%, 50% discount brings it down to 50 million.
I'm telling him that as a young man,
50% of 50 million becomes 25 million.
As a young man now,
50% of 10 million becomes 5 million. Because 20 million becomes 10 million. Yeah.
So if that is the thing, I'm telling you that no youth, no young man will be able to afford 50 million.
So this is a disservice to the young, not too young to.
Yes,
okay.
Not
all right, let me proceed there, Bishop.
So if they need the youth who are vibrant to drive this nation with passion, to bring development, the youth are the ones that have the vision of what is going to happen tomorrow, not the old men that are already dreaming.
All right, Bishop, Dr. Bishop Ahalame. Is this in any way related to attempts to muzzle some people out of any of the races, whether it be presidential, Senate? Is this a strategy by political parties to ensure certain people go far and others just buckle under pressure of funds and chicken out?
It is.
Why do you say so?
They want the older politicians to remain in power because they have this money. They have the kind of money that they are calling right now to purchase these nomination forms. Now, Duke, you see, the time has come for us to call a spade, not a shovel. You get what I'm saying right now? How would a political party ask aspirants to pay 100 million naira for presidential nomination form and 15 million naira for governorship nomination form? In a country that we want to reset, in a country we are working so very hard to fix, you know what they're just doing? They are trying to give room to what I call plutocracy. A government by the wealthy people. They create their own country for themselves where they rule. And when you create that kind of government, when you have plutocracy, it gives room to what I call kakisocracy, the government by the world citizens. You bring a fair cost of nomination form so that the best brain can get the form. Because right now, what are we looking for? Whether we're in APC, whether you're in PDP, whether you're in Zero Labour Party, what we are looking for now is a leader that can change the narratives. That's why I told you that Nigeria has become a project now. We are having serious issues. Economically, we are not balanced. Insecurity, you can't even, when you're in your house, you don't even sleep. Even me, I don't sleep again. Because 2 weeks ago, armed robbers came to my house. Give them valuables and money. As if they don't sleep. The fear is already there. We don't sleep. You walk throughout the days when you're supposed to sleep at night, you don't sleep. That's where we are now. You are traveling on the road, you are afraid. You'll be praying that you get where you are going. The economy is in comatose. The educational system is doodling. The government does not even encourage education. Do you know why we complain in Nigeria that a leader, somebody wants to become a leader is too old? You know why? Do you Kokosu? The reason is that we don't read. Because we don't read, as we age, our mind will become very old and the brain become inactive. We're no longer creative and we're no longer innovative. That's why you see if you go to the Western world, where they age, they get better. You know what? It's not in the age, because they read a lot. If you want to be a good leader,
You must read 7 books at least in a month. It will help to develop your brain. It will activate your creativity and your innovation. It will make your mind young, irrespective of your age. You don't read. So that's why we see when we see them old come say, oh, we don't need you. Now, the only way they wanted to stay now, because they have the kind of money to throw out, is to raise the nomination from beyond the reach of the youth. Some time ago, somebody raised an issue that if we must fix Nigeria, we need an energetic leader, a leader who is focused, with vision, not a self-service leader. That's what we have, self-service leaders. Okay. People who do not care about the people. Duke, let me establish this to you. There's a popular author in America, Jerry Powell. He wrote a book and said, "Listen, America." Remember what I said about? He said America has gone into the pinnacle of greatness above every other countries in the world. That there's no any other thing that America want to achieve that they have not achieved. Because the laws of which the America that are operating, these are biblical laws, whether they are Christian or not Christian. That was the founding father of America where they base their decision. But what is happening today? If you go to the Bible, in Matthew chapter 23, verse 11, he said, Jesus Christ declared, he said, let the strongest among you be your servants. Today, how will a man buy a mission for 100 million? And for the campaign, amount to 100 billion. And you want that man to be a servant leader, he will be bossy.
All right, let me come with Frank. When we look at it from the perspective of the amount, are we not leaving out something or missing out something? And that's the fact that we are talking about the political party. Are we necessarily talking about the individual in that sense, as it relates to this nomination form cost that we're discussing?
They are seemingly inseparable, because the party is the platform, the individual is the one that has the mandate or gets the mandate in the long run, who gets the ticket. In this case, it's the party that fixes the amount, it's the individual that will pay for it. Okay. So that's why I said they are interrelated, because it's the journey that we will embark upon together. Yeah. So it's seemingly inseparable. Sorry for me to divert a little. Yeah. The great bishop made reference to, I'm a Christian, no doubt, but in political discourse, I don't fancy religious references. There are great countries in human history. There have been nations that were so distinct in achievement that are not bearing with anything called religion or the Godhead or what have you. Okay. So God has created the world. If you go by the relevant laws and rules, you can attain the peak of whatever you choose to do. Okay. So it has nothing to do with religion.
Let's stay on course.
The Americans, just to divert into on the American stuff. Now, in the United States, in vying for office, even when the amounts are not so expensive, there's even a provision by which you can get nominated without paying a dime. All that is required is for you to write a petition, and depending on what you are doing, for either president, governor, senate, at the national level or the state level, specific number of signatures to endorse you. I was talking about France just now. In France, there's no specific fee you have to pay at the point of entry. It's elected officials. They have provision in the law where 500 publicly elected people are the ones that will sponsor you by adding their signature to say that they support your candidacy. Yeah. So you must meet that benchmark before you go ahead with it. Yeah. But in the Nigerian sense, when they say America, we're talking about, the average American citizen can afford to vie for almost any office in that country. But in Nigeria, with this benchmark they are putting, the best of professors, the best of consultants and experts in different disciplines, by their earnings, cannot afford to participate in even located political pursuits. And that is the case of emasculation. That contradicts the clear provision of the Constitution. And if we continue on this path, we are headed for the rocks. That is the truth. But before I go ahead on that viewpoint, I want to affirm something very categorical. The Nigerian political system is such that it turns a good man to a bad man. No, it doesn't turn a bad man to a good man. Okay. It takes the orientation of an individual with what I could define as Socratic philosophy or Aristotelian thinking capacity, the likes of the Platos, to be able to have the capacity to go through the Nigerian political system and still retain your sanity. So many people you see contesting in these elections. It's just like in the occultic world, unfortunately. I've never been a member of the occult, but I read about some stuff. There are certain groups that to join, they subject to all kinds of strains. They will use cutlass to cut you. It's because they are preparing the person for the mind to be seared enough to even kill people and not have any feeling. It's a psychological principle. Unfortunately, the Nigerian political system is formed that way to such an extent that people will come with good intent, but when they go through the rudiments and all the protocols of the electoral process, they come back and it takes some special resolve, some sense of being a non-conformist to still have 40% sympathy for the citizens that you promise to do something for. Rather, you become vindictive and think about to get out of the system. That is how the system is packaged. That is why we are saying, young people, anybody that this system produces, just see the trajectory. Before you go through, even getting the ticket of a party, to the point of getting the people's mandate, the rudiments, the illegalities, the things you are subject to, will make you to turn from good to bad, except you have special restraint to keep yourself cool. So the Nigerian political organogram must be rejigged, must be changed, otherwise we are headed for the rocks.
All right, Bishop, I've heard people say, look, anybody who is able to afford the nomination form cost should be probed by EFCC and should be probed by ICPC. I don't know what you make of such comments.
The person is very correct.
Why? I mean, there are people who have earned legitimate monies. Yes.
For my place. They say, if you say a man have climbed very successfully, go back to the bottom of the tree to find out whether the tree have branches. Because if it's a straight tree and you need to grab it to begin to struggle to climb, you get to a level and it will come down. Nobody tells you to come down because you already know you cannot finish. So for anybody to raise such money, he has not started campaign. People who are going to endorse him and sign have not told him what is my own. And he survived it after the nomination and campaign stress is alive. You know that he has a warehouse of money somewhere. Are you hearing me? So if we are sincere, you know, say I studied investigative journalism. If we are sincere, let them consult me or commission me to carry out investigation to where you started as a cleaner, to messenger, to clerk, to this, to that, and we bring out the one you did and the one you did not do. So the thing is, yes, sir.
So when you have group of friends coming together to buy such a form from you, anything wrong with that?
When that person collected our commonwealth.
No, somebody, I mean, group of friends come together to buy you a phone. We see that happen before.
The group of friends too should be investigated. Because if the group of friends are people who have, say, signed here without doing the job, everybody, then from the sign here now, you gave him 50 million and he's giving you 30 million to contribute. Has he lost anything? He has not lost anything. So we say group. So from that group, you know, money, each time I tell people, money does not fall from heaven. Don't pray to have money, pray to have idea to make wealth. The knowledge to make wealth, the strength, the power to make wealth. That's what God gave us. So if we not look at your account, you that has not saved 10,000 before, one day 3 million come, the other day 2 million come, 10 million come, 30 million come. It collected from somewhere. You must be able to tell us how did this money come to your account. And the man who gave you did not also go to God's bank account to collect it. He should be able to tell us who paid him, what job did he do. So it's a chain. So if they want us to do that, if they are sincere, we will get our money.
Okay.
But they are not ready. I have tested it. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, our studio line will be open shortly, so you can also call and be part of the discussion of the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Please endeavor to call and be civil in your language and avoid casting aspersion on anyone or names calling. But just before we open our studio line, let's look at other issues that are trending on the road to 2023 on the political scene. Wife of Mr. President, Aisha Buhari, recently, we're told, invited some presidential aspirants to a meeting. In that meeting, they were not allowed to go in with their phones. Is this reasonable? Is this justifiable? Does this make sense? Let me begin with you, Bishop Bakalami, quickly.
It doesn't make sense.
Why?
How would the wife of a president invite that spirit to come for a meeting without food? Things are told us right there in this country. We have never, it's unheard of. If Aja maybe have organized maybe a forum to make sure that there will be peace in an election and invite all the candidates, not ask for that, and tell them, please, election is not a do or die affair. Please, when you lose election, congratulate your opponents and team up and bring your ideas so that you can navigate together. That would be fine. How will you be calling aspirant to a secret meeting without a phone? And now, a first lady for that matter. For me, there are things that I don't, when I hear them, I don't listen. To me, that doesn't make sense.
Okay, all right. Frank.
I think I concur with that viewpoint.
Yeah.
It's quite unfortunate that now it's not an occult meeting. It's supposed to be a meeting of those who, in quote, are even leading the country.
Yeah.
And we will be told not to bring. There must be something that is sinister that they
But
want
we
to
didn't say anything wrong with some presidential aspirants going to have a meeting with Mr. President. So if they go have a meeting with Mr. President, what's wrong with having a meeting with his wife too?
No, I didn't say there's anything wrong with they are going to meet her. She has the right of association is fundamental. It's enshrined in the Constitution.
Okay.
They can meet with anybody. And I even feel that it's not even that toga presidential aspirant is too big a concept. It's those in their party that they're inviting. And there's no presidential aspirant that's going to see.
It's across board.
No, I'm talking about the body, for example. I've not seen any aspirant from any other party that's going to see him.
All right.
And so on the wife's
own, she invited everybody, Wike and the rest. And the
I'm not contesting. I'm just saying that their priority ordinarily would be, yes, those on their front. I'm sure within the next few days there will be details in the papers, electronic campaign media on the outcome.
Let me get Bishop Sadoroche. Bishop, quickly.
The scriptures say, when the foundation is broken, what can the righteous do? That's where we are.
All right.
Now, let me finish.
Okay, quick. Yeah.
Now, for the person to say, don't come with your phone, means there is ulterior motive. There is something I want to tell them, that it should not be heard outside. There should not be evident. So if you say it with your mouth, I will say, I didn't say so.
Yeah, it's hearsay.
It's hearsay. So that is the native. There is already a made-up mind of what they want to tell you, and you have no right to say no. And if you say no, your no is not recorded. It's only his yes that can be announced to the press. And you are not allowed to make statement after that meeting. So say, let me tell the press what transpired. They said YBC, and I said, no, I'm not agreeing with Y, but I agree with B. You don't have that right.
All right. There's some seeming disquiet surrounding former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan over his presidential ambition. Is this something we should take serious, Bishop Sadoro? No, Bishop Bahala.
Well,
is the case ought to be or not to be?
I look at him yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw a man that has. I look at his body language. I see a man that he want to contest, but he want to be pushed. To me, even what happened yesterday, I see something that was arranged. That is how I think. It's my opinion. Yeah. Because he was around. All those guys. How you don't know that Mr. President was former president was in his private office in Abuja. He's a good man. And then he started when he was the president. Nigerians were not complaining. Things were going on well. We are only complaining about corruption. You could still buy a bag of cement at 1,250, 1,008. This was still going on well. You travel with your business, you lodge in a hotel comfortably, you come back, you enjoy with your family. But today is difficult. That's why I think that's why people want him back. And I can tell you with what he said yesterday. But before he made that comment, there's something he said that made me to off the television. He said, the youth should want more to contest that to take over the. But you want to contest, now you want to become president again. How will the youth now want more? It's as if we are just I don't know.
One of the reporters says, he's still thinking, he has not made up his mind. But yet,
at the appropriate time, I'm sure at the appropriate time.
He has agreed to attend to press. Yet, his posters are flooding Abuja, right? And they are denying it. But I still love him.
Okay. You still love him?
Yes. I want to appeal to him through this medium. that because I love him, his family love him, Bayelsa love him, the South love him, the entire country, men and women still love him. We want him to remain focused and forget about Nigerian politics. It can be advising outside.
Right.
Any attempt for him to buy form campaign, he will finish himself for life.
All right, Frank, you're sharing these sentiments.
Yeah, to a large extent, I think that, like I found earlier, the Nigerian trajectory is being a case of a movement from bad to worse, unfortunately. That is why, as bad as it was in 2015, because of performance from that time till now, Jonathan now appears to be an angel. I remember the perception he had as at 2015. The index was bad. Yeah, but like you said just now, unemployment as at that time was about 9.3%. Inflation was about 8.01%. If you look at everything, the exchange rate, naira to dollar was about $1 to 100 and between 198 or 100 between 180 and $199. Life was good. So yet it was so bad. But unfortunately, it's like a movement from frying pan to fire. That's why people are having the audacity. I'm not a fan of it, unfortunately.
All right.
That Jonathan is not the because.
All right. Let's open our studio line and feel the pulse of the people on some of the issues we've talked about on the program. 052-290-5730. That number right now, and be part of the program. Please be civil in your language and be brief because others are waiting. Once you succeed in putting a call through, go straight to the point. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're first on the show. Go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, good morning. We can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
I'm Honorable Emmanuel Samudjame.
All right, please go ahead, Honorable Emmanuel.
Our people have an adage that a man no
Please interpret for the benefit of our viewers and listeners. I said, please interpret for the benefit of our viewers.
Okay. Yes. Did you say the yam that should have been given to the people? The yam was taking us far from the people to get his hands there. So it was not possible for the people to get his yam.
Okay.
So what I simply mean by this is that all this huge amount of money for the nomination of funds by all the political parties, I'm not exactly one. It's an attempt to scheme out all those Nigerians that have charisma to carry this country forward. That's on one side. Now, a situation where one person is able to raise 1 million, and I'm very sure that a person is just a man's family. We go to him tomorrow to demand for help. We will say, how do you want me to help you? People that don't have their fellow men in their heart, I believe those are the ones that we have in the country to go and pay for this money.
Okay, let's pursue there because some of us are waiting. Thank you. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name?
Hello.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, please, with your contribution.
Please, I will check the program and what contributions made by the panels on this day.
Okay.
But I want to say that the position, I think as a position of those ladies, because it does help to disadvantage the youth and the youth participation in election as far as this presidential election that would be reviewed that. And the money is just too much. It's on the high side.
Okay.
On the high side. So it's not democratic. Because it's a situation where you are already selected the money back to collect the nomination form. And then they have part in the democracy. So that is just my point. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Hello, good morning. What's your name? Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and be part of the program. Good morning. What's your name, caller? You're live on Politics Today. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Please tell us your name, where you're calling
I'm calling from Saturday.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to comment about the nomination forms of these two big political parties.
Yes, just go ahead. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Now, APC as a party to come up with a nomination fund for 100 million naira. And then they think that people will just purchase that form without having any other ulterior motive of recouping this money that they have used to purchase the form. Bearing in mind that purchasing the form doesn't mean that you have won the election. It's just to protest to show that, okay, you want to contest an election. It tells you that the corruption they are posting that they are fighting is not only their fault. And for the, hello?
Yes, go ahead. You can quickly conclude the point now. Yes. Okay, we have others waiting on the line. Hello, caller. Good morning. Please tell us your name.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Yes, Doctor. Open secret. Go ahead quickly.
Yes, the Professor Isa Ambassador.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I think the issue of 100 million to pick a form, 50 million to pick a form, is a direct assault on the Nigerian populace. It is the actual emblem of corruption. Because somebody that is coming to serve the country, to buy form for 100 million. That person is going to print posters. He's going to buy copies. He's going to do big boys. He's going to buy TV, another radio station to campaign. Buy a trophy for people and buy his cap, t-shirt, fly jet and all for this. And all this money will now amount to 100 billion. Then, is he a Father Christmas? By the time he gets there, we don't go to recoup his money back. Okay, you say you make nothing else to do. How will me now, Dr. Opus, is going to raise 100 million now to go and buy the form now to come and contest as president? So it's a sham. It's corruption embedded. That is what it signifies.
All right, Dr. Opus, I got to pause you there. Let's take one last call and be back to the studio to call it a wrap on the program. Hello, caller. Good morning. Please tell us your name and what you're doing. Yes, good morning.
It's that. My name is Christos, the Tottenham fan. Giving 300 million for nomination poll, that person who paid that money should be investigated. It's a sign that this country is not prepared to be cleansed, because they use a kind of people who have gone there and they will allow the right people to come into positions. It's very, very unfortunate. And each time I think about it, I want to cry. I can already say 100 billion. Where will the average man, even the professor, get that type of money? So it becomes so ridiculous that funny.
Okay. All right, thank you. Our last call today. Good morning, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Where are you calling us from?
My name is Mr. Dominic Casey. I'm calling from Ella.
All right, please go ahead, Dominic.
Okay, our people say that who is the elephant to set a trap? What do you expect to catch? By the grace of God, we are watching the political side of this country. Then 100 million just perform. We will not contest. What will be the personal opinion of why for that provision of the president? One thing is that they are not ready to repair Nigeria. They have just, planning everything within themselves. But I know there is God. One day God will do them.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Well, that's our last caller for this segment of the program, gradually bringing us to the end of Politics Today on independent television and radio. But gentlemen, let's get to comment on the feedback from our viewers and our listeners. Frank, quickly, last comment on this.
They've aired their mind with reference to the cost of the election form. But like I said earlier, it's actually just one of the fruits of the defective tree that we complain about as a challenge we have in the country. The last election in 2019 was the highest number of voter registration we've had in the recent past. As of 2015, we were just about 69 million registered voters. By 2019, we already crossed 84 million. But the voter turnout is the lowest in the history of Nigeria. Is the second lowest in the history of Africa. Only second to the 1996 election in Zimbabwe. So you see, even when more money is spent in the election, there's less voter turnout.
There's less participation.
Less participation because confidence is diminishing. Political statisticians put up an estimate a few years back where they affirmed that in the last 3 general elections, Nigeria government has spent about 444.5 billion naira in the election process. But by this factor of low voter turnout, they have wasted or lost about 255 billion. No, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Across the world, in making budgets for votes, for electoral bodies, they do the estimate per individual. And by a constitution, in their making plans for the election, they use the registered voter as the yardstick, not PVCs collected. So when they use 84 million and the turnout is 20-something million, we use billions of producing materials to no effect.
And people don't come for it?
People don't come for it because confidence is diminishing. And government should know this. The more people diminish, the confidence people diminish in such activities is a sign of a decline in the legitimacy of the state. And where it is headed is the fact that Thomas Hobbes becomes the factor in view.
All right. Bishop Usadoroche, final word.
See, if we must get this thing right, everybody that have contributed here now and those that called and spoke one word. And if you go to the public, you will get the same word to show you that the amount they are calling for is unrealistic. If they want the best brain, people that are ready to help us develop this country and drag this country to where God have made it to be, we should reduce it very drastically. President, 10 million. Governor, 3 million. House of Assembly, 200,000. House of Rep, maybe 400,000. When we get that done, let them face the populace in their party. Then whoever comes up, let everybody in that party support the candidate.
All right.
So that their candidate can remain in government.
Yeah, final thing.
Abraham Lincoln says, and I quote, "We are the arbiter of our trouble, the author and finisher of our predicament." That if we are faced with any predicament as a nation, this problem can be made as a reflection of our individual values. And the only way we can solve these challenges, it is when we stay focused individually and collectively. Where we are in Nigeria now, this is not time for APC, PDP, Zero Party accord. All of us have to come together and rebrand Nigeria and restart this country. Make it working again, because Nigeria is no longer working. Make it the giant of Africa, because it's only giant in a book, but in the physical, it's just like
all right, thank you, gentlemen, for your time with us today on Independent Television and Radio. Dr. Harame, thank you.
You allow me to finish it now.
Thank you. And to all our viewers and listeners, we thank you for staying with us on the program. We hope you will find the time to join us next week, Saturday. Until then, have a beautiful weekend. Bye for now.